Hey everyone, welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading. Today's May the 2nd, 2021. Today I'm going to be looking at some earnings names. Another busy week going into next week. We have PayPal, Uber, Mrna, Square, Roku, Peloton, AMC, PENN, and DKNG, which I'll be discussing in today's stream. Basically, I'm going to be looking at my targets to the upside and to the downside. I'm also going to be looking at some traditional names such as Apple, Tesla, and Facebook. They all reported last week, and I'm just going to go over them and see what they did and where I see them going into next week as well. I'm also going to be looking at the S&P 500, my targets to the upside and to the downside, and where I see the market going for tomorrow and heading into Tuesday, Wednesday, and straightforward going to Friday. But before I get started, make sure you check out our website, thewealthymentor.net. And if you want to join our Discord group, we offer great services, market analysis, targets to the upside, downside on options trading. I've also offered different watch lists for swing trading, day trading. It's also a great opportunity to learn and observe. So if you are interested into that, head over to thewealthymentor.net and join our Discord group. With that being said, I do have SPX here on the 30-minute chart. Futures hasn't opened up yet, but here is S&P 500. So as you guys can see here, we did have a bullish week. Somewhat, we did trend sideways most of the week. That was basically just due to buyers, people just stepping out, watching to see what earnings do. And a lot of the times it was pretty dull. Day trading, we were stuck in a tight range. We did pop off and make off all-time highs here, as you guys can see, at 42.18. We did close Friday's session just above support, which is at 41.80. Heading to next week, I am looking at that 4,200 mark. That's the main target for me. Personally, I would like to be above that target and consolidate at 4,200 and then move up, which to me would show me it's a pretty bullish market and we are ready to move higher. At the moment, we are stuck in this range below 4,200 down to the 41.80 mark. So going into tomorrow as well, if we do break 41.80, I am looking at my next confirmation point, which is that 41.70 mark. So if we hold above 41.80, I am still bullish. But if we break below 41.70, I do have targets as my first take profit at 41.50 and 41.30. As you guys can see here, we did have some action here where we did hold for support on this big candle wick right here. And we did move higher and ultimately making all-time highs. So going to tomorrow, above 41.80, 4,200 is a key area. If 4,200 is broken, I'm looking at 42.10 as my first take profit. And my second take profit is at that all-time highs, 42.18, 42.20. Let's just call it for round numbers sake, 42.20. If we do move ahead of that and we break all-time highs, I have 42.30 and 42.50 as my bullish targets. Okay, so that is my targets to the upside and to the downside on S&P 500. Okay, first name that I want to look at is PayPal, and PayPal is reporting on Wednesday, so the ticker name for that is PYPL. I am going to switch over here to the 4-hour chart. I don't usually trade PayPal, so I will be drawing some targets with you guys today. Okay, right off the bat, we do know that 310 is all-time highs. Another area for me would be that 280 mark. Right, we dropped down here. We tried to pop back up. We tried to pop back up over here as well on the 14th of April and the 1st of March. So that is an area of resistance, the 280 mark. We do have support at that 260 mark. So that's important for me as well that I'm going to be looking at. Down here at 225. I'm not necessarily saying that we're going to be dropping down to here, but these are key areas for me. I am going to zoom in on the smaller trends here to see exactly where we can take profits. Another area for me would be that 275 mark, right here, 268. 244 to the upside. If we get past 280, I am looking at 288. Another target right here at 296.5. Another higher target above 286, 296, it would be 302.50, which is the top of this wick right here, which also shows that we did get rejected. So that's significant for me. I look at that type of stuff. Okay. If we do break all-time highs, I am looking at 315, 320. Okay. Those are my bullish targets to the upside. So let's pop in here and see exactly what we have. So going into tomorrow, Monday, I am looking at that 268 mark to break. Above 268, I have 275 as my first take profit target, and my second take profit would be that 280 mark. Above 280, we have 288. And the reason for that is, as I mentioned earlier, it is the top of these peaks right here. So that 280 mark is strong resistance for me. So above that 268, these are my two targets right here to take profit. If we are really bullish and we do break 280, right, we are retesting the next peak right here, which we did see some price action at that 288.50 mark. All right, that's to the upside on PayPal. If we bomb on earnings, we do have support here at that 260, 259 mark. If that is broken, you could potentially see a drop down. I would say I can draw another level right here down to the 250 mark. So if we break 260, 250 would be my first take profit. My second take profit would be that 244.50 mark. And if we do break 244, I do have targets here at the 232.50 area. Okay, so those are my targets to the downside. Also, if we are, they don't do really well on earnings, 225 is strong support. One time here a bounce on the 25th of March. Second time here on the 5th of March. Here on January the 28th. And price action once more here on the 6th of January. So that 225 mark is big for me. So if we do bomb on earnings, I do expect 225 to hold and receive a sizable bounce if everything goes good. So that's the downside, and as I mentioned, to the upside. Okay, so that is PayPal going into tomorrow, and they have earnings on Wednesday. Okay, PYPL. Next name I want to look at that's reporting is Uber. Uber and Lyft did have some bearish news regarding their employees being classified as I forgot what it was, something about them being full-time salaried employees along those lines. They did have some of this news, I believe it was last year, where the stock did drop again. I don't know why. This is new news, quote unquote new news, but we did have some fear into these two names, Uber and Lyft. So going into earnings, like I said, this is not one of those names I usually trade, but 64 is all-time highs. So I have a resistance point there. Another resistance point would be that $61 mark. As you can see here, we did have a strong resistance at that $61 mark here back on the 16th of March, and consolidation underneath that area on the 14th of April. Okay. Another area for me would be this peak right here, $56. We couldn't break it here, had a hard time breaking it here, fake out, drop back down. Again, big bullish candle here, confirmed by some, pretty good volume, breaking out to all-time highs. Again, a rejection here, price action below it. So this $56 area is significant for me. Another area of support that I'm going to draw is that 51.50 mark. We did bounce off it quite a few times. February the 25th, March the 5th, the 24th of March, and we almost wicked down here just recently on the 28th when we did receive that bearish news regarding their employees. Okay, nothing to worry too much to worry about. Honestly, it's mostly buy the dip scenario. And if you did, good for you, because if they do, do really well on earnings, I am looking at a break above that $56 area to potentially retest 60, 59, right? 59.60. So if we get above that $56 area, I am looking at take profits at that $59 to $61 area. So that would be my first take profit zone. Above that, I am looking at all-time highs at 64. If 64 were to break, I am looking at 68 as my third profit target. And my next bullish target would be that $70 mark on Uber going forward. Keep in mind, guys, due to the virus, pandemic, Uber and Lyft did suffer significantly. So it's one of those plays that you don't necessarily want to gamble on getting into earnings. Personally, it's a wait and see approach. Okay, going forward, if we do break 51.5 support, I am looking at $48, which I believe was around that IPO price or similar to that when we first started. And another area for me would be that 43.5. Once more here at that 38.50 mark. And just to complete it, I am looking at $32. And once more here, 28.50. Okay, so that is Uber's targets to the upside and to the downside. Below the 51.5, I am looking at shorts to the $48 area. Take profit number one. My second take profit is that 43.5. Okay, that is Uber going into earnings, which that is on Wednesday. Also, guys, look for correlations with Lyft. Very similar. Uber does good, Lyft usually does good, and vice versa. Okay. Next name, Mrna, mRNA, one of those vaccines, right? Mrna has a lot of volatility to both upside and downside, and there's always opportunity. So here we are, Mrna reporting on Thursday. On the 4-hour chart, this is one of the names that we have on our swing trading watch list. If you are part of our group, you have access to these charts and these targets, which are updated every single week. If you're not, head over to our website, check out our Discord group, join us. And if you're not really ready to join us as a full-time member, join us anyways, and you get access to our, Traders Lounge and our earnings chat as well, and our market analysis every single day. So there's definitely benefit for you. Okay, Mrna, here we are. Friday just closing above support, which was at 178.50. Going into earnings and going into next week, honestly, we won't be touching this unless I see $86 break. That would be my first confirmation. My second confirmation would be that $90, 190. If you are a swing trader, definitely look above that $190 area. If you're an options trader, scalp trader, I am looking at that $86 mark to break as my first take profit target would be the 190. Above 190, as you guys can see here, we did have strong resistance. This thing can fly all the way to 200 and 205. As you guys can see, 218 was all-time highs. Big long wick showing rejection. So $200, I believe if we do hit well on earnings, $200 will get tested. So those are my areas to the upside. To the downside, I have support at that 178.50, which was my first confirmation. I wouldn't short right there. As you guys can see here, we did have some price action that were pretty much fake outs, which if you're an options trader, you will get burned, especially on a contract that's 1 week or 2 weeks. A lot of volatility with the stock, so keep that in mind, not to just jump into shorts. Basically, as soon as these targets get hit, look for volume confirmation, look for analyst upgrades, look for market conditions. So with that being said, I am looking at shorts below 170.50. Below that, 163.5 to 160 would be my first take profit. I'm going to lump this two together. My second take profit, if that were to break, would be that $147 area. Keep in mind, we do have some support here at that 156. So look for volume confirmation to break through to take profits at that $147 area. I am bullish on Moderna. As long as we get that past that 190. 190 for me is huge. So get over that, and entries above that would be pretty bullish. Okay. So that is mRNA Moderna, and they are reporting on Thursday. Another name, Square SQ, related to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been trending higher since Friday. So look at Square to also move in correlation to that. They report on Thursday, and so what I'm looking at on Square, the big number is that 260 mark. So if you are a swing trader, look above 260. For 265, take profit, and 273.5, take profit. If you're an options trader, which is what we do, wealthy mentor trading, we do have targets above that 250.5. Above that, I am looking at take one profit, 255.50. Number two, take profit, 260. We do have resistance at that 260 mark, and we have been trending in that little small zone from 260 down to 240. So personally, I would like to see 260 break, but that doesn't mean you can't take profits at 255 and 260 and then reevaluate position based on the volume and market conditions and enter at that area. Okay, that's to the upside. To the downside, 240 is strong support, so I'm going to be looking at that going into tomorrow. A break of 240 would be my first confirmation. My second confirmation would be that $237 area. If $237 gets purged, I am looking at shorting positions down to the 230 and 227.5 as take profit zones. Obviously, if we see continued weakness, I definitely see 222.5 being played, as we did have some consolidation here back on April the 1st. Okay. Just let me look at the 1-day chart. I'm pretty bullish on it. As long as we get that past that 260, 265 area, I think we could definitely go higher. And Square, like I said, it's correlated to Bitcoin. So if you see Bitcoin prices go up, you should see Square follow through with it. Okay, so that is Square on the 4-hour time frame, and quickly glancing over at the 1-day chart. Okay, another name reporting earnings next week, Roku, ROKU. And, if you want to see a glimpse of what their earnings could be, look at Netflix. Netflix didn't do really well. I believe they dropped down from 580 all the way down to the $500 area, and even further lower on earnings after hours. I'm not sure how well Roku did in correlation to that, but if that was some sort of clue, definitely look at Netflix to gauge where Roku could drop. Okay. Okay. So targets to the upside. Tomorrow, I am looking at that break above 245. All right. If 245 breaks, I am looking at entries above 350. 350, I am looking at take profits at 360 and 364. If you are more of a conservative trader, swing trader, look for over 370 to break, 370 to 374. If that were to break, your take profit targets would be that 280 to 284 area. Obviously, if we're really bullish, we're retesting 395. To the downside, 340 is key for me. We did have some support here, and which is also the breakout point here. So these two things I look at. Big support here, buyer stepping in, right? Doji candle here, showing reversal. Again, sellers try to push it. Nothing happened. Big, strong candle here. Buyers coming in, pushing it back up. However, this could be a dead cat bounce. And if we do test that 340 mark, and as the rules are, the more you test the support zone, the weaker it gets. Pretty soon it drops and breaks through. So 340 is what I'm going to be looking at. Below 340, 332 as your first take profit target, and 320 as your second take profit target. As you guys can see here, like I said, it was the breakout area, and it did hold for support at that 320 mark. Okay, keep in mind Netflix and keep that in mind how they did on their earnings, and you know, look at charts back and forth to see if there's correlations with that too. Peloton is reporting on Thursday. Their ticker PTON. I'm not really bullish on Peloton. It's just one of those names that really did well during the pandemic because people weren't really going to the gyms. And now that they have more access to the gyms, I don't really see Peloton as worth the price of $100 even. So going into tomorrow, $95 is the key target for me. Below 95, I am looking at 88 take profit. And below that, we do have 77.5 as my second take profit. To the upside, my first target would be that $100 mark, right? That is the psychological point for me. I personally would not enter the $100 mark. As you guys can see here, we did have some price action going back and forth. And if you are an options trader looking to enter above 100 and trying to take profits at 106, you probably got burnt. If you are a smart trader and you saw that we did push up above 100 and got rejected back down and push up back down, you definitely should have closed your position. If you didn't, volatility would have definitely killed your options trade. So personally, 106, I would enter above that. 106, if that were to break with convincing volume and hopefully some analyst upgrades, 109 and 110.5, 111, let's just call it, would be your take profit areas. 114, 117 would be your bullish take profit areas. And if you are a swing trader, definitely look above the 117 mark, 117.5 for your entry for potential take profits at 120 to 124.5. Okay. And my opinion on Peloton, I am not bullish on Peloton. Okay. Next name, AMC. One of those meme stocks. Not really, but it did turn into it just because it did have a strong push basically from $5 all the way to $25, $26. It does have, real world use. AMC is a theater, and as you guys know, theaters are opening up, not to full capacity, but partial capacity. So look for news regarding that type of stuff. So this is not a name that I usually trade, just too much volatility and unpredictable. Too many emotional traders. And personally, I like to stay away from that. So going into tomorrow, we do have $10 as support. We are just on the cusp of that. Below that is $9. So I would enter shorts if I see a break below not $8.50 to $9 for my target at $7.50 with my first take profit target. And my second take profit target would be that $6 mark as we consolidate around that area back on February this 22nd, 2021. Okay. If we do break $11, I am looking at targets take profit of $12.50. If $12.50 were to be broken, I am looking at this high peak right here at $15 as my second take profit target. If $15 were to break, and I doubt it, I am looking at targets of 18, right? That would be my third bullish target. So that is AMC going into next week, and they are reporting on Thursday. Keep in mind, guys, these meme stocks tend to correlate to each other's. So look at costs and look at I forgot that other weird one that's like 10 times its value. It's a gaming one. Slipped off the top of my tongue. I forgot. I'm pretty sure you guys know. Anyways, going into the next name, PENN, PENN, reporting on Thursday. Another gaming stock, gambling stock, I should say. PENN National Gaming. They are reporting on Thursday. So PENN, I was pretty bullish on PENN. As you guys can see here, we did have a March from November lows at $50 all the way to 142. We are, drifting lower. And as I like to say, the trend is your friend. And right now, I would say this is more towards neutral and bearish, 50-50. If we can get above that $100 mark, I might change my mind. But right now, as I'm looking at the charts, if we do break that $86 mark, I am looking at targets down to 81, 77.5, and 73. If you are a swing trader and you want to, see if there's a trend change, look above that 111.5. Above 111, your targets should be 115, 120, and 124. 124 is key as we do have strong resistance at that level. So if we do push up to there, expect a rejection of some sort at that 124, 120 level. Like I said, to the downside, that $86 is support. We did have support here at 86 on January the 8th. So if 86 were to break, retest these areas down here again on the 4th of January at that $81 mark. So that would be my first take profit. And my second take profit is that 76 and $73 area. Let's just lump it all into one and say that would be your second take profit. Okay. Again, PENN, I am more neutral to bearish just because the trend doesn't look great. However, that can all be neglected. And if we get above that 107, 111 area, and again, if you are a safer trader, look above that for take profit targets. Another name that is sometimes correlated to PENN, which is also reporting on Friday, and that is DKNG, DraftKings, DKNG, ticker symbol, I should say. You know, DKNG is it's a tricky one. They do have a lot of price action to the upside and to the downside, so it's tough to measure your entries on this one. However, I would say again, similar to DKNG, I'm more neutral, not as much bearish, but still bearish, because I can see that $55 mark is key for me, 55 to 52. So again, that would be my first confirmation. My first confirmation to the downside. If 55 were to break, that was signal number one. Signal number two would be 52.5. 52.5 or break, I would enter shorts down to 50. Right? If 50 were to break, I'm looking at 46.5 and 43.5. I would be cautious to enter shorts on DKNG. Just like I said, a lot of weird price action. So that's why I do keep this as a swing trading name. And again, it is one of our swing trading names on our low cap stocks. So keep those levels to the downside in mind. To the upside, I personally like to see $65 break. Personally, if I was trading this as a swing trader, I would like to see 65 break. Above that, I am looking at 70 and 75 as my take profit areas. If you are an options trader such as myself, and it's what we teach, I am looking at 58.5 as my first confirmation. My next point of entry would be that 60.5. If 60.5 were to break, I would take profits at 62.5 and 65. Okay, those would be the small trends that I would enter into and take profits as an options trader or a day trader. Okay, guys, those are all the earnings names that are important to me that I want to discuss. We did have earnings on Apple, Tesla, and Facebook last week, so I'm going to quickly glance over those names right now. And here we are. Apple, AAPL, reported earnings last week. They did have strong numbers, and we did push spike over that, $138, $140 mark, as I mentioned in previous streams. Like you said, that 135 area was a strong level of resistance. And guys, you know what? It still is. Got rejected here. Buyers just not strong enough, and the volume wasn't strong enough, to be honest with you, because as you can see here is the buy volume, but guess what? Look at the sell volume, and that pretty much shows me that the sellers are in control of Apple, and that $135 mark is still strong resistance. So going into next week, I'm still looking at 135 to break. If it does break, I am looking at 138 to 140 as my take profit 1 and 2. To the downside, 130.5. If 130.5 were to break, 129 and 127.5 would be my two take profit targets. However, if you are shorting, I would suggest you look for shorts on the break of 127.5. We do have strong resistance on that break. So strong resistance now is The support area is 127, which would be strong. I would like to see strong volume like this at that 127.5 area for me to enter shorts to take profit at 124 and 123. Okay. Apple, neutral, no trade. Next name that reported earnings last week, Tesla. Tesla, tricky one again. They could get great numbers, great guidance, but it could still drop. And that's exactly what it did. We did have a nice bounce at that 665 area. Huge candle here right now. Great price action on Friday. Pretty much, anyone could have made money on Tesla, to be honest with you. It was just candlestick after candlestick on the 5-minute chart going up. So major support at 665. That's going to be looking at if I am shorting. To the upside, I am looking at 710. 710 has held for strong resistance here, as you guys can see here. Candle wicks, all showing pretty much rejection. So going into next week, 710 would be my first area. If that were to break, 720, 730, and 740 are my take profit targets. To the downside, if we break below 700, I am looking at retests of 610 and potentially all the way back down to 665. Okay, that is Tesla on the 4-hour time frame. Last name, and a name that reported earnings as well last week that did well and did push higher, was Facebook. FB is the ticker. Facebook is trending around all-time highs. As you guys can see here, this is the candlestick right here that broke through, which was the earnings push. We did hit 333. So personally, I am looking at that 333 mark to break. I like to see stocks break above all-time highs and enter above that. There's no price action, and price discovery has, it's still in price discovery. So it could push to 340, 350. You don't know. But for me to enter, I would be looking at 333. However, if you are an options trader or a scalp trader, someone that is looking to enter and exit in positions within 5 minutes, look for that 130 mark to take profits at 133, and 136 would be your second take profit. If you want to enter above 133, 136 would be your first take profit, and 340 would be your second take profit. 336 and 340. To the downside, 324 is strong support. It's held here by this support line, and it's also held here by the moving average, right? So 324, if that were to break, which would be my first confirmation. 320, if that were to break, I would enter shorts down to the 315 area, which we did have strong resistance. We couldn't break it, which is now strong support. So that would be my first take profit area. If we continue to drop and then that support area breaks, 310, 307 would be my second take profit area, which was the breakout point on the earnings kill. Okay, guys, those are all the names I wanted to discuss. Keep an eye out on all those earnings players that I mentioned earlier on in the video. A lot of great opportunity. Rewatch the video if you have to. Draw all the support lines on your charts. Prepare yourself before trading. Wake up early. Plan. That's what basically makes a great trader. Planning. If you fail to plan, your plan is to fail, basically. Okay. So thank you for tuning in. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you are interested in joining our trading group, head over to thewealthymentor.net and join our Discord group. Awesome service at a great price, and you won't be disappointed. Thank you very much. Bye, guys.